Hi, it's Lou Manfredini, Ace's home expert, and today we're going to be talking about fixing holiday lights, specifically ones that you plug in and half of them are working and half of them are not, like this strand right here. I'm going to show you some different ways to figure out what's going on. These particular lights are LED. You've got a couple ways to do this. It could be something as simple as a fuse that needs to be replaced. There are tools like this. This is called a Light Keeper Pro that you can use on incandescent lights, and they also make one for LED lights. Or it can be a simple problem with the wire. Let me show you what I found on this specific strand of lights. Okay, I mentioned to you that there's an issue perhaps with a fuse on these particular ones. LED lights, these diodes right here are actually replaceable, but I'm going to check to make sure that the fuses are in good shape. If you take a screwdriver or a utility knife and you open this up, you'll expose the two fuses that are there, and you can see that if half the lights are out, it could be that one of those fuses is blown and the other one is not. And so changing those out may solve the problem. I've already tested those and they're actually fine. Now, you want to do any repair with them unplugged, but I'm going to plug it in right now just to verify what's going on here. And you can see I've got lights on, lights off, lights on, lights off. As I mentioned, these diodes are replaceable, but when you have half of them off, it's got to be something else. And so you want to unplug it and kind of look around to see what's going on. Well, as I was looking at these lights, look what I found. There's a wire that got pulled out of the socket here that made the loop incontinuous. So it's supposed to continue through, feeding all those. And it's as simple as, well, one of two fixes here. We can either shove this back in and try and pinch this with a pair of pliers to hold it in place and tape it with electrical tape, or you can cut this particular diode off and use a wire nut to tie these two wires back together and then cap it, and then the lights should work. So let's try a couple different ways. Now with the strand unplugged, I'm going to go ahead and just shove this back in and see if this works. I'm going to twist the wire a little bit so it fits in there, okay? And then in the hole that you can see where the wire is missing, I'm going to take that in there and shove it back in place to try and make contact inside there. Now, with that in place, as a test, we're going to go ahead and plug these lights in. They're all on. So that is the problem right there, is that this wire got pulled out of here, and you've got a couple ways to do this. You can either tape that with electrical tape really well to hold it in place, or what I'm going to do is cut those wires. In order to do this safely, I've got a pair of wire cutters here, and I'm going to cut this wire. Okay, and what I'm going to do is join these two together. So what I need to do is strip this wire a little bit, and using this wire cutter, I'm going to pinch the outside coating on the wire just a little bit. Now, if you have wire strippers, that makes life a lot easier too. And the other one that pulled out, I need to make that a little longer as well. So you got to be very careful. Pull the coating off of there. Now, remember, this is always when it's unplugged. We're going to twist these two together just with your fingers. So now we made contact with it, and then using this small wire nut, I'm going to go right over the top of that, and I'm going to join those two together with the wire nut. And ultimately, once I put that all on, I'm going to tape it. I want to attach it to the nut as well as the wires to keep it all together, and ultimately keep the water out of it as well, because if you're going to, especially if you're going to use these lights outside, you want it nice and sealed up. This is a safer way to do it, because that way we don't have to worry about any sparks, and the wire nut is the correct way to make this connection. After that, we'll plug them in and see if it works. I love it when a plan comes together. Now, of course, where we put that wire nut, it's not going to light up. So depending on how you lay the lights out, you just want to hide that behind, if it's inside an artificial tree or bushes outside. Light sets are easily repairable if you take your time and do it right. And with these LED lights, they're super durable, but sometimes wires get loose and you just have to reconnect them. So you can fix them yourself. Now, if you need more advice or you need to buy more light sets, just go to your local participating Ace hardware store. Remember, Ace is the helpful place.